Well, good morning. It's Buddha's in your landfill. And let's take a look. You know, I started off this morning, I had nothing. Dry as a bone. I said, what am I? I have nothing. I just give this up. You know, I can't find I'm dry, I'm worn out, you know, there's nothing to say. And then I said, well, let me look at a haiku from Basso, and which I've been writing on every morning on my website, killaminotaur.com. So I wrote the haiku down, and the next thing I was back, you know. So let's pick up where we left off yesterday and see where we're going to go today. Yesterday we were talking about, you know, your moments of Zen are really when you find that Buddha in your landfill. So I keep throwing different ways of looking at the same thing. And yesterday we looked at alchemy and the philosopher's stone, as which was the science of the Middle Ages, but which is a metaphor for finding gold from base metal. And the base metal is your everyday, boring, I don't know anything, stupid life. The base metal is everyday mind and life, and the place where you are, which doesn't seem to have any potential. So we're always looking for tomorrow, some other place, some other land, some other time for the gold. And we don't believe there's any gold in the base metal of our present moment. So the present moment, this now that we're always in, is like base metal. It's not fun, it's not exciting. I need to get stimulated. There's nothing here. I'm bored. The potential is gone from this job, from this relationship, from this land, from this me. I'm a wasteland. It's kind of, I'm just in a rut, going in circles, you see. So that's the base metal. So the alchemy is that you can turn the base metal into gold. So let's see how we're going to do it today. And I'll pull up my chart today. And the haiku that I opened up this morning reads, "This bright harvest moon." Now you have to picture this. Actually be there with the poet. "This bright harvest moon keeps me walking around all night long." Keeps me walking all night long around the little pond. You can see this bright, beautiful harvest moon reflected in a pond. This bright harvest moon keeps me walking all night long around the little pond. And so we could see, you know, that this is an experiential thing where you can actually be there, because you can see that. We can all see see this bright moon. So the poet invites us to become the harvest moon, the poet walking all night long in the little pond, and this is the base metal. So what is the gold here? Well, we can begin to pull it apart a little bit and ask some questions. What is the little pond? Here's our little fellow walking around the little pond. I'm reminded of Sheldon's spot. In other words, the pond could be a lake, or it could be a teaspoon. It could be a dewdrop. It could be an ocean. You see, what is little? So the little pond reflects the whole moon. So the whole is reflected in a little pond, a dewdrop, a tear, or it could be a little backyard pond. The size is irrelevant, because the whole is reflected in the part, in the little pond. So we walk around it. And so this to me, this expands out into the little pond is just like the cell of an organism has the whole plan or DNA of the whole or in the cell. So the whole is in the part. The same with holograms. If you take a piece of a hologram, the whole hologram comes out of it. Or if you take a clone, they clone an animal. You just get a piece of an animal, and you can create the animal out of it. Or the DNA, get the DNA in just a hair, one part. The whole organism is there. So this understanding, this truth that the whole is in the part, comes back to me here, where this little pond is. Well, I live in Blackstone, so Blackstone's a little pond. I live in this house. This house is my little pond. So in Blackstone, the whole universe is reflected. I can find the whole cosmos in my town, in my house, in this morning, in this body, in this mind. In other words, every single point in the space-time continuum is a jewel or a little pond that reflects the whole cosmos. So the whole is in every, this, by the way, is the metaphor of Buddhism called Indra's net. Indra's net came out of Hindu mythology, and Indra's net is a way of seeing the world as a vast net, and where like a web or a net, and at every connection there is a dewdrop that reflects the whole net. So you can imagine these little mirrors. Every moment, every point is a little pond that reflects the whole back and forth. So you can see this vast net of inner reflecting. It's like a mirror, a hall of mirrors, and you put up two mirrors, and you look in one, and it sees the other, and it sees the other, and wow, to infinity, you see. So it's kind of like this is a paradigm that is different from the flat space-time paradigm that we are conditioned to believe is reality. It's the difference between a flat atlas map, where if you want to go from A to Z, you have to go on a path. In other words, you are like an ant on a flat map. But the GPS map, you are the center of the map, and wherever you go, the map organizes, the whole map reboots around you. So just imagine that you then are the little pond, and the whole cosmos then, from where you put your foot, your town, your state, your country, your hemisphere, your earth, your galaxy, all of that zooms out, and that whole thing reboots around you as you move. Think about that. The whole cosmos reboots and changes to fit your movement, which is a totally different paradigm from the one we think is reality, or one that we're used to being in, which is a flat map where you have to fit on the map, and the map doesn't move. We don't think we don't think the world moves around us. We think we have to move in the world. So I've got to get from here to there, and I look around, there's nothing here. So I got to get somewhere where there's something, you see. So now I got to travel in time to get to some imaginary place where I can find gold. And but from this paradigm here, there is no gold out there. The gold is going to be where you are. You see, the gold is where you are, not somewhere in time. You are the gold. The whole world is right here in you. So this is the idea of a gold mine in your backyard, or another popular story, and is when the striking oil in your backyard, or the gusher. Some poor guy digs up a potato in his backyard and strikes oil. Or somebody finds a gold nugget in their garden. This whole story, this idea, this is the metaphorical story of this, and finding God in every moment. You see, where could you go that God is not? from this paradigm? Where can you go that gold is not? You see, there is no place you can go where gold is not, where God is not, where you are not. So it really changes everything to stop the need to seek gold in time in some other relationship, some other job. So it doesn't mean you can't change jobs or relationships. It just means that where you are, being here now, is where you are. This is the ground upon which you have to stand in order to be okay and to be happy. You have to find Sheldon's spot. I love that as a metaphor. Sheldon's spot is where everything is in balance. Well, the air, the light, the fear, everything is in balance. So your spot, which is the little pond, is where everything is in balance, and that spot is moving like a laser dot. In other words, we have a laser dot that you chase the cat, and the cat will always, it's really funny because the cat will sit there and you'll run the dot, and you say, well, it's not a real dot. And then finally the cat instinct, he can't stand it, and he goes for it. And you can run that cat all the way through the house, following that dot until finally, he'll never catch it. He gives up, and then but his cat nature can't stand it. But anyway, it's the idea that our mind will take the dot that's pointed where I am, and the imagination will point it, well, maybe I need to go to California. And I'll point that dot, and then I'll run to California to get the dot. And when I get there, I'll be like the guy, you don't catch it. That's a good idea. You can never catch the dot that the imagination puts out in front of you, but we fall for it again. We go to California, and we find out, well, we're still haven't found the gold yet. So, maybe it's in Tennessee. So the little laser dot runs us to Tennessee, and we get there. No, see what I mean? We're constantly chasing the laser dot, but we forget that the source of the laser dot is in us, is right here. So this is where our spot is. Our spot is right always, already, now. And if we can stand there and give up the need or the thought that it's somewhere else, like this morning when I thought, well, I'm dry, I've got nothing to say. I've exhausted this, I just close up shop, I was not sitting in my spot. I thought I had, there was no gold here. There was nothing here. There was somewhere else. So what else, you see? So so when we give up, we just don't fall for the dot, don't fall for the laser dot and run off somewhere. Just look at what you got. Just look at what we have right here, what you have right here, and just be with that, not looking at it from the point of view that it's empty. Look at it from the point of view that it's already full. You see? That changes everything. So when it's already full, then you get to open its potential, and you are that potential. As long as we think there is nothing here, then I'm somewhere else, you see. But as soon as I sit in this spot and say, this is it, there is no other spot, this is where I am right now, this is now, I cannot leave now, and we sit in it and we allow that to be, that opens up the possibility for discovering gold in our backyard, you see. So, let that be our Buddha for today, and may you find a full harvest moon in your little pond. The harvest moon. Harvest moon means you're going to harvest something. You're going to create something. You're going to discover something. The harvest. So the harvest moon is in your little pond. And that's where you need to walk around it until you see it. Thank you, and I'll see you this evening at It's Martini Time.